Hello, hi. Right now I am in Rome in front of the Colosseum. And I thought, I'll just make this video and share to you something very important about Christian faith. This is a place where, it was known for the gladiator games where people were cruelly killed. And the game was just to kill each other. And in fact, the other fact of this place is that in first century, many Christians were killed here. They were put in front of the wild beasts and also killed by the spears and the swords here. And it was kind of an entertainment in those days. But the Christians had to suffer a lot in those days. But one of the things which really fascinated me is, in about 400 years after the early Christians, somewhere around 400 AD or late 300 AD, there was a Christian monk called Telemachus who was living in a remote place somewhere far from this area. But one day God spoke to him and asked him to go to Rome, and especially to come to Colosseum. And this is where he came here. And when he came here, God spoke to him and asked him to stop the game of this cruel gladiator, which people used to kill each other. And when he went inside this place, there were thousands and thousands of people watching people being killed. And Telemachus, a faithful man of God, he sat there in that place watching it. And when God spoke to him, he just stood up and he cried out and he said, please, in the name of God, stop this game. And he kept shouting it until all the people around him, started staring at him. And then he ran down to the arena, which is just right inside in this Colosseum. And he ran to this arena where the gladiators were there in their hands, the spears were there. Now it is said that he again started crying out to God, please, in the name of God, stop this game. And in those days, if one gladiator puts down the other gladiator onto the floor, onto the ground, the people used to just do this, thumbs down, in order to say to the other gladiator, just kill that person. And everyone started putting their thumb down, indicating that the gladiator who was standing should kill Telemachus because he was just disturbing what they had come for the entertainment. And Telemachus, he kept saying this, please, in the name of God, stop this game. And it happened so, it is said, either he was stoned to death or one of the gladiators took his spear and he thrusted in his chest, and Telemachus, he fell to the ground, and for the last time he said, please, in the name of God, stop this game. And Telemachus died in that place, and there was a pin drop silence. It is said in that Colosseum, even if you drop a coin, that sound used to resound in that whole Colosseum, in that whole amphitheater arena. And there was a pin drop silence. Then one person got up, left that place. Then the second person got up, third person got up. Slowly this full arena was empty. And it is said, after that, gladiator game was never played. It was completely stopped. It was because of one man called Telemachus who was faithful to God, who heard the voice of God, who obeyed the voice of God, and he sacrificed his life for God. And because of his sacrifice, this game was stopped. One thing comes to my mind is how many of us in this generation, we stand up for God? First of all, how many of us we hear God's voice? And when we hear God's voice, how many of us we dare to take that step towards God, to do God's will and follow Him? You can imagine that for Telemachus, when thousands of people were watching him, staring at him and jeering against him, there must be such a pressure. Telemachus could have just kept quiet and, carried on just watching or left that place and gone. But he obeyed God. What God said, he did it. You know, how many of us, we come under pressures because of the crowd, because of the people. We are afraid of people, and many of us, our lives are driven by what people say, what their opinions are there about us. But how many of us, we hear God's voice, we listen to what God is saying to us and obey Him? You know, there is a saying which is said that we have 21st century transportation and communication. What we need is the first century dedication. And here, this story, in that first century, and even after a few years after that, you know, there were many faithful Christians who gave their life to the Lord, who obeyed the Lord even until death. And today we have this challenge before us. In this generation, how many of us, we hear God's voice, and when we hear it, obey Him? I would like to encourage you. This morning when I'm standing here in front of this great Colosseum, a historic place, an icon, you know, I want to challenge you and tell you, hear God's voice and obey Him, and God will do wonders through your life. So God bless you. Amen.